If you follow these 5 rules for the next 12 months, staying broke becomes extremely difficult. That's not motivation, that's math. Right now, be honest. You get paid, your account jumps. For a moment, you feel ahead. 3 days later, it feels the same. Not zero, not terrible, just stuck. You're not reckless. You don't gamble your paycheck. You don't ignore your bills. So why does nothing build? Look at the numbers. You make $70,000 a year. After taxes, maybe $4,500 per month. Rent, $1,900. Car, $650. Insurance, $200. Phone and utilities, $250. Groceries, $600. Subscriptions and random spending, $300. That's over $3,900 before you even decide what kind of life you want. Now here's the real problem. When you get a raise, say another $1,000 per month, what happens? Better apartment, new car, more comfort. That extra $1,000 disappears before it ever becomes leverage, and you don't even notice it happening. This is how most people stay broke without ever feeling broke. Not because they earn too little, because every dollar already has a lifestyle attached to it. If nothing changes, 5 years from now, you'll still be hovering around the same $2,000 to $5,000 cushion, one unexpected bill away from resetting. But if you install 5 simple rules that protect your income from lifestyle drift, your money starts behaving differently. The staircase finally moves, and over time, progress becomes automatic instead of accidental. Let's make it automatic. Meet Andrew. Andrew is 29. He earns $72,000 a year. After taxes, that's roughly $4,500 per month hitting his account. His fixed expenses look normal. Rent, $1,850. Car payment, $640. Insurance, $210. Utilities and phone, $240. Groceries, about $600. Subscriptions and random spending, another $300. That's roughly $3,840 before he even thinks about saving. He tells himself he's doing fine because he usually keeps about $1,500 to $2,000 in his account. But every time something unexpected happens, a $900 car repair, a $1,200 dental bill, a weekend trip that just happens, that cushion shrinks back towards zero. Now, meet Daniel. Daniel earns $68,000 a year, less than Andrew. After taxes, about $4,200 per month. But Daniel capped his rent at $1,400. He drives a paid-off car. Insurance and utilities total about $350. Groceries are similar, $600. He allows $250 for eating out and subscriptions. His fixed monthly total? Around $2,600. That leaves him roughly $1,600 every month before investing. Andrew makes more. Daniel builds more. Andrew feels stable. Daniel feels intentional. After 12 months, Andrew might save $3,000 if nothing goes wrong. Daniel saves and invests over $15,000. 5 years later, Andrew is still hovering between $2,000 and $5,000 in liquid cash. Daniel is sitting on $80,000 to $100,000 between savings and investments. Same city, similar income, completely different direction. The difference isn't talent. It isn't luck. It isn't secret investing knowledge. It's rules. Andrew upgrades with income. Daniel locks structure before lifestyle. Andrew reacts. Daniel predecides. And here's the uncomfortable realization. If you look at your own numbers honestly, you probably recognize which one you resemble. That recognition is not judgment. It's leverage. Because once you see that the gap isn't about income, it's about repeatable rules, you stop chasing raises as the solution. You start asking a different question. What would happen if I ran my money by design instead of emotion for the next 12 months? Here's the part most people don't want to hear. If you make $70,000 a year and still feel stuck, The problem probably isn't your income, it's your structure. Andrew doesn't feel irresponsible. He pays his bills on time. He isn't drowning in debt. He isn't gambling his paycheck away. But every time his income rises, his lifestyle rises with it. He goes from a $1,400 apartment to a $1,900 apartment because it's only $500 more. He upgrades from a $350 car payment to $640 because I deserve something nicer. He keeps telling himself he'll start investing seriously once things feel more comfortable. But comfort keeps moving. Here's the math nobody thinks about. That extra $500 in rent, that's $6,000 a year. Invested at a modest 7% return for 10 years, that's over $83,000. That extra $290 on a car payment, that's $3,480 per year. Over 10 years at 7%, that's another $48,000. Small upgrades don't feel dangerous. They feel earned. But over a decade, those reasonable increases can quietly cost you over $130,000 in future net worth. That's the difference between having options at 40 and still feeling like you're one emergency away from resetting to zero. The real conflict isn't broke versus rich. It's structure versus drift. Drift feels normal. Structure feels restrictive. But drift is what keeps Andrew hovering at $3,000 in his account year after year. And structure is what pushes Daniel towards six figures without ever needing a dramatic income jump. If nothing changes, Andrew will still be saying, I just need to make a little more 5 years from now. And that's the trap. Not low income, lifestyle drift without rules. Now pause. If you're realizing you're closer to Andrew than Daniel, this is not a judgment. It's normal. Almost nobody is taught how to design their money. We're taught how to earn it. We're taught how to spend it responsibly. We're taught how to improve our credit score. But we're rarely taught how to build structure. Andrew isn't careless. He's just operating without rules. And when you operate without rules, emotion fills the gap. You celebrate raises with upgrades. You justify purchases with, I work hard. You increase expenses because they feel manageable. There's nothing irrational about that. In fact, it feels like progress. The problem is that progress in income without structure turns into sideways movement. And here's the important part. You don't need to sell everything. You don't need to move into a studio apartment. You don't need to cut coffee or live miserably. This isn't about deprivation. It's about direction. If Andrew froze his lifestyle today, not reduced it, just froze it, and redirected every raise into savings and investing for the next 24 months, his trajectory would change dramatically. If he kept his $1,900 apartment but refused to upgrade again for 5 years, he would still move forward. The shift isn't extreme sacrifice, it's intentional consistency. You don't need a $200,000 salary to build momentum. You need rules that prevent leakage. And once rules are in place, your income, even if it stays the same, starts behaving differently. Money stops reacting to emotion. It starts responding to design. That's why this isn't about blaming yourself for past decisions. It's about deciding that the next 12 months will operate under a different system. Because when structure replaces drift, stability becomes predictable. And predictability is where confidence starts. Now let's talk about the 5 rules that make that shift possible. Rule 1. Cap your fixed costs at 50%. This rule alone changes everything. If your take-home pay is $4,500 per month, your fixed costs, rent, car payment, insurance, minimum debt payments, should not exceed $2,250. Not 60%, not 70%. Once fixed costs go above 50%, you lose flexibility. Andrew's fixed costs were around $3,840 on $4,500 income. That's over 85%. That means almost every dollar is pre-committed before he even decides how to live. Daniel's fixed costs were closer to $2,600 on $4,200 income, around 62%. Still not perfect, but far more breathable. When fixed costs are capped, raises create surplus. When they're not, raises create upgrades. If you do nothing else this year, calculate your fixed cost percentage and lower it under 50% over the next 12 to 18 months. That single boundary makes staying broke very difficult. Rule 2. Automate 15% before you see it. If you wait to invest what's left over, nothing will be left over. If you earn $72,000 a year, 15% is $10,800. That's $900 per month. Yes, that sounds like a lot. That's the point. When Daniel's paycheck hits, $900 automatically moves into investment accounts before he can mentally assign it elsewhere. Andrew invests when the month looks good. That means some months are $0. Consistency beats intensity. At a 7% average return, $900 per month invested for 10 years becomes roughly $155,000. That's what discipline looks like over time. Automation removes emotion, and emotion is what keeps people stuck. Set the percentage once, let time do the rest. Rule 3. Freeze your lifestyle for 12 months after a raise. This is where most people quietly sabotage themselves. You get a raise from $70,000 to $85,000. That's roughly $900 to $1,000 more per month after taxes. The default reaction? Better apartment, new car, more convenience. Instead, freeze everything for 12 months. If your rent is $1,850, keep it there. If your car payment is $640, don't upgrade. Take that extra $1,000 per month and direct it entirely to savings and investments. In 1 year, that's $12,000. In 3 years, with modest returns, that's $40,000, plus building quietly in the background. Lifestyle upgrades feel rewarding, but delayed upgrades build leverage. If you delay lifestyle inflation by just 1 year every time your income rises, you break the cycle that keeps most people stuck. Rule 4. Build a 6-month survival number. Most people say they have an emergency fund. What they actually have is $2,000 sitting in checking. That's not security. That's temporary breathing room. Calculate your true survival number. If your essential monthly expenses are $3,000, 6 months is $18,000. That number changes how you behave. When you know you can survive 6 months without income, you stop making decisions from fear. You negotiate differently. You switch jobs more confidently. You stop tolerating bad financial choices just to feel safe. Andrew's $3,000 cushion disappears with 1 car repair. Daniel's $20,000 survival fund absorbs shocks without resetting progress. Security isn't about feeling comfortable, it's about having enough runway to make calm decisions. 6 months of survival money turns instability into strategy. Rule 5. Do a 30-minute money reset every month. Most people look at their bank account passively. They scroll, they react, they hope. Instead, schedule one 30-minute reset at the end of every month. Open your accounts. Write down 3 numbers: total cash, total invested, total debt. If your investments went from $42,300 to $43,150, that's progress. If your debt dropped from $12,000 to $11,200, that's momentum. Momentum changes behavior. Andrew avoids looking because it feels stressful. Daniel looks on purpose because it creates control. During that reset, adjust. Did fixed costs creep up? Cut something. Did a subscription sneak in? Cancel it. Did income increase? Raise your automatic investment by 1%. 30 minutes per month is 6 hours per year. 6 intentional hours can redirect thousands of dollars. You don't need constant discipline, you need consistent awareness. When you review your numbers monthly, you stop drifting. And when you stop drifting, staying broke becomes very hard. Go back to the promise from the beginning. If you follow these 5 rules for the next 12 months, staying broke becomes extremely difficult. Not because you'll suddenly feel rich, not because your income doubles overnight, but because your direction changes. Andrew isn't stuck because he's lazy. He's stuck because every dollar already has a lifestyle attached to it. Daniel isn't ahead because he's smarter. He's ahead because he built boundaries first, then let income grow inside them. That's the shift. When fixed costs stay under control, raises create surplus. When investing is automated, money compounds quietly. When lifestyle is frozen after income jumps, leverage builds. When 6 months of survival money exists, fear disappears. When numbers are reviewed monthly, drift stops. None of this is extreme. It's boring, predictable, repeatable, and that's exactly why it works. If you earn $70,000 and apply these rules consistently, your net worth will look completely different in 5 years. Not because of luck, because of math. Imagine investing $900 per month for 5 years. At a modest 7% return, that's roughly $63,000 invested and growing. Add survival savings and controlled fixed costs, and you're no longer hovering at $3,000. You're climbing. The staircase doesn't require motivation, it requires structure. And the difference between staying broke and building wealth isn't usually income. It's whether you operate by default or by design. Choose design for the next 12 months. Then watch what happens. If this video changed the way you think, hit like and subscribe. More ideas like this are coming. See you in the next one.